How do you view the EU minimum wage directive?
Well, it's a good thing to have, but it's actually it's a fast bandage. It's a fast way to patch things up, but it's not the silver bullet. It's not the solution to the bigger problem. Because if you give the money to the people today, let's say 100 euros, but if the what you can buy today with 100 euros, it will cost tomorrow 120 euros because of the inflation and because of the overall economy. That's not a long-term solution. So yeah, it's something. It's a start. It's a first step, but we need to fix the broader problem.
How is the directive being seen in Romania by workers?
Well, in Romania, the directive will impact around 1.5 2 million workers, something like that, and it will mean in real money around 120 130 euros in gross salary. So that means somewhere over 50% in net salary of this from this amount. But again, that will depend very much on the actual economic conditions, because if you have high inflation, high living cost, that impact will be there. You will have an impact, but there will not be a significant impact. What we need to do is address the actual problem, and we need to ensure the fact that all the people have access to all the basic necessities with a, let's say, reasonable price. So we have now the energy crisis, which affects everything because it scales up to all the basic necessities, food, transportation, everything. So just getting a higher minimum wage will not solve this. By fixing the economy, we can fix the actual problem.
How does the government see the problem of rising prices in Romania?
Well, the government in Romania is not, we are not in the ruling majority, in the ruling coalition. My party is not in the ruling coalition. And of course, I have a different opinion than the opinion of the Romanian government now. We don't think that it's doing what it should be doing. And again, they are using social benefits. They're simply throwing money at the problem, but that's not a solution, because the solution would be to get better paying jobs for everyone. So being in a minimum wage situation, it's not a good idea in Romania, and it's not a good idea in Belgium, it's not a good idea everywhere. We shouldn't need this type of address, because what does this type of solution mean? It means that people who have a real problem because they are at the lower end of the payroll will be at the hands and pens of the governments. It doesn't matter which government is in power there. And this shouldn't happen, because the government shouldn't have to decide by themselves how much the people are getting paid, if they're going to help the people or not. And also, all the people need help. Not just, okay, yes, this category of people needs the more help, but we need to address the issue for everyone. Even if you're not, even if you don't have the minimum wage, if you have something a little bit above that, you still have those problems. You still have huge cost for heating. You still have a huge cost for food and everything else. So this is why I'm saying that just throwing money at one category or another will not solve the issue. Getting investments that will bring better paid jobs, more jobs and better paid jobs. Getting investments into infrastructure that will help people move towards where the best jobs are. And also investments in the IT infrastructure. So maybe we don't need to move the people anymore. We saw that from the COVID crisis, but we'll move the jobs through IT solutions. And the people from the eastern part of the country, let's say, have instant access to a job in the western part of the country without having to move or transferring anyway. But for that, you need infrastructure. For infrastructure, you need investment. And that is how you really solve the problem.
So what is the social reality of a minimum wage worker in Romania right now?
So as I said before, it's not a good place to be. And it's not a good place to be in Romania, and it's not a good place to be in any other European country. The reality doesn't look good for someone being there. We have a lot of minimal wage paid workers in many different sectors. Of course, in construction, there are many people with that minimum wage situation, but in also in other different economic parts of the economy. Sorry, but I would say it time after time that you don't solve it like this just by tweaking the minimum wage. That's not solving. If we double, if we triple the minimum wage, that's only going to cause imbalance to the economy. You need to put the money into investment that will allow you to have sustainable growth, and the economy will do the rest. If you just, let's say, if you make the economy have to adjust always to a political, governmental policy like that, I think you're creating another issue. Yes, you are helping in the very, very, very short term, but by creating inflation and by not getting investment and development to your country, you are going to pay much more in the long run than you should have. And again, if you're getting 100 euros now to someone, for sure they need it, tomorrow they will not be able to buy the same things with that 100 euro. Probably it will cost them 110, 120 euros, and so on and so forth.
So is this directive a help or a hindrance to workers in Romania?
For sure it's not a hindrance. So for sure it helps. For sure it's a good thing that we have European regulation, but we shouldn't look at it as a perfect solution. We shouldn't be used to having interventions like this, and we need to see the broader picture. Again, investments that bring better jobs for more people. That's the solution. We do not want people at the minimum wage situation. Yes, if we have them, of course we need to help all those people, but the target should be not to tweak the minimum wage, but to get people out of that situation, because it's not a good place to be.